What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Single Hook Hogs Fishing, keeping you ready and motivated for trout fishing in Pennsylvania surrounding areas. I'm Corporal Hood. As y'all know, we got Nimrod Lunkerfest coming up on March 18th and 19th. Yo, Lunkers up there. That's an awesome tournament. It's pretty much our opening day. We got a boys weekend coming up after that. We'll get the video out, but in preparation for Nimrod, we're going ahead. We're spooling up this reel right here. We got this Fluger President XT. This is a 2020 edition. Right there it is. President 2020, baby. Beautiful things. This is an awesome reel, 6'2" return. Absolutely amazing. Fully sealed drag. And the thing comes in at under $100. But hey, that's not the point of today's video. We just wanted to go ahead and take some time and talk about monofilament, fluorocarbon, and braided line for fishing for trout. Some of the advantages and disadvantages and our recommendations for line. Here, a lot of people argue, ask about what's the best line for fishing, mono, fluoro, braid. There's combinations, and it really comes down to preference and what you're comfortable with in the end. But we're gonna go ahead and get into some of these details and give you all our recommendations on what you should really use. Starting off, you cannot run braid straight to the hook for trout. If you're gonna run braid, you need to run a fluorocarbon or a monofilament leader, and we'll get into why you might wanna run braid, as you see that we do on the channel, if that's what you choose to do. But let's start off with that monofilament versus fluorocarbon. We'll talk about monofilament for a second. There's a couple different brands out there, some good ones. Eagle Claw makes a good monofilament. Berkley makes an excellent monofilament. Our favorite, Amnesia, right there. This is actually a 10-pound mono, a little heavy for trout. You want to run like 4, 2 if possible, but this part of our mono rig for fly fishing. Either way, Amnesia makes an excellent monofilament line. That would be our recommendation for mono. But the thing that you get with mono is you don't get the memory. Like fluorocarbon, when it comes off that reel, especially in the cold weather, it's going to keep that slinky. It's going to have a lot of memory and a little more stretch. However, fluorocarbon, you're going to get much more abrasion resistance, and you're going to get more pound for pound tensile strength. Generally, your 6-pound fluorocarbon is going to be about 2 to 3 pound mono, maybe 4 pound mono, somewhere in there. So you're going to get less diameter and more tensile strength out of that fluorocarbon line. However, fluorocarbon does stretch more, so it's going to be more of a delay when those trout are really finicky and just mouthing it. You're going to be able to feel it a lot better with that mono, because the mono isn't going to stretch. It has less elasticity. That mono is going to keep it a little tighter. Also, when fishing fluorocarbon, one thing you have to keep in mind is the amount of weight on your line. If you're running a 6-pound fluorocarbon, you probably need to have almost 1/8 of an ounce of weight to keep that line tight so you don't get that back spool, that crazy bird's nest. You have to manage that line when running fluorocarbon. That's not going to be so much of an issue when running mono. Mono's not going to hold that memory like fluorocarbon does, and it's going to relax off that reel a lot more. But if you're willing to manage that line and you want to pay attention, probably not the best idea for beginners. But if you're in the intermediate stage or advanced, or you just want to bump up to the next level, run that fluorocarbon straight to the line. When we run our fluorocarbon straight to the reel, we use Seaguar InvisX 6-pound, and then if them trout are being picky, we'll tie a 4-pound leader onto that. But we keep that 6-pound straight to the reel because on those rainy days, when you got everything coming down the creek, you might want to have that extra play on that line. Plus, it gives you advantage to run spinners downstream through heavier waters. You don't have to worry about a 5-pound trout hitting a 4-pound line at 6 miles an hour, and then there goes all your dreams right there. But yo, those are recommendations. If you're gonna run mono, we prefer Amnesia. But once again, Eagle Claw and Berkley make a great line. As far as fluorocarbon goes, we love Seaguar, and that's all you need right there. Crimson and gold. InvisX, a little bit of red label. Not too much price difference there, but I do think there's a difference in that InvisX. It seems to perform a little better. We tried some 6-pound red label one time and definitely caught more fish with the InvisX. Just keep that in mind. Didn't deliberately do the experiment, but it was noticeable difference on that InvisX. Definitely a game changer right here. If you go down to 4-pound with that, whew, you probably have even better luck. So let's go ahead and talk about that braid. Why do you run braid for trout? Why would you like to run braid for trout? Well, running braid for trout provides you a very unique advantage if you're willing to be a little more tolerant and put in a little more effort. First of all, when you run braid for trout, you have to run a leader. Choosing that leader goes back to your decision whether you want to use mono or fluorocarbon based on those same concepts of what you're going to tie to the reel. And in tying on that leader, you're going to need to know how to tie a knot. We recommend a blood knot. There's videos on the internet. Maybe we'll do a video on that. But that can be a learning process, to say the least, especially on some of those windy days, tying that blood knot with 2 4-pound tests in the wind. It's frustrating for about 6 months minimum, y'all. Anyway, you do have to tie the knot. The advantages you get with braid are just through the roof: abrasion resistance, high visibility, and most of all, braid has zero elasticity. So that braid, you feel everything. What you're doing is you're taking that whole line stretch concept out of the game. So when you got 30, 40 yards of line out and you have to pull that fluorocarbon or pull that monofilament, you're probably pulling 3-4 feet of stretch out of that line alone. With braid, you're gonna trim down to a 5, 6, maybe 7 foot leader. You're only pulling maybe 1/8 of an inch of stretch. Boom. You see on the channel, we get them right in the lip. That's the secret, y'all. Run a braided backing with either a fluorocarbon or a monofilament leader, and it will increase your hook set capability probably tenfold. You'll feel the bites better. You will feel everything. Nibble, nibble, bang, right on the lip. It'll increase your game. However, you're gonna have to be a little more tolerant. You're gonna have to be a little more patient. You lose your leader, you're tying on multiple spinners, having a rough day on the creek, you're gonna have to keep tying on leaders. You're gonna have to learn how to tie a blood knot or some other type of knot to hold that leader to that braid. And you also have to make sure you run the right pound of braid down to the right pound of leader. The braid we like to run, preferably 12, 8, 10, somewhere 8 to 10 pound. But I'll probably keep at least 10 pound on. For the Nimrod tournament, we got a 12 pound Pisces Fun line we're gonna be running. We'll talk about that in a second. But you don't wanna go too heavy. We got some braided line behind us. Let's go ahead and take a look at these right here. Starting off with our #1 recommendation for braided line. Really can't decide between these two. It's pretty much what's on sale and what's available in the color we're looking for. But we got Spider Wire Ultra Cast and Yo-Zuri Super Braid. Both of these braids are absolute fire. Yo-Zuri especially tends to be a little bit more expensive than Spider Wire, but sometimes it's on sale, and it does come in that cool high-vis yellow, which looks awesome on the videos. This Yo-Zuri and the Spider Wire definitely comes in that 8, 10, 12, 15 pound range. And if you guys are looking for a bargain, we just picked up this right here. Pisces Fun, might look like an Amazon cheapo brand, but this Pisces Fun Onyx, this is actually a 12 pound braid. It's all black. I don't know if you can see in there. We're looking forward to that. As we said, you might have seen them on Amazon here and there, but believe it or not, their reels are produced in the exact same manufacturing plant as Daiwa and Abu Garcia. So yo, could be some quality stuff coming out of there, but we're gonna give this line a test. It's significantly less expensive than that Spider Wire and that Yo-Zuri. Yo, we're taking it to Nimrod, y'all. So that shows you, could be a good budget buy. We'll see. We don't expect it to snap. It is a 12 pound braid. I'm sure no matter how bad it could possibly be, it'll get through a day, but we don't expect it to be too bad because we've heard a lot of great things about that Pisces Fun company, and maybe we'll get some of their stuff on the channel here for you. But great budget company. Once again, check them out, Pisces Fun. And we are not affiliated, but just for y'all out there that looking for something new, want to try something new, fishing on a budget, whatever, definitely look into their stuff. We've heard so many great things about them. Haven't had a chance to play with them yet, but we have heard some good things about them. Definitely would be interested in your feedback. All right, y'all, so we're gonna go ahead and get this Fluger spooled up with some of this Onyx right here. And I guess we'll see it Nimrods. But yo, thank y'all so much for the support. Once again, fishing mono, fishing fluoro, there isn't really a best option. It's your decision. And if you want to make that jump to tie on that braided backing, give yourself that advantage on those hook sets and be a little bit more tolerant, you're still going to have to tie a leader. So once again, you're back to that mono versus fluoro decision, but it's really, what are you willing to tolerate? Do you want to fish with the advantage of fluorocarbon and visibility in the water? That's pretty much the difference. The mono looks like a black line, the fluorocarbon see-through, so way less visibility on that fluorocarbon. They can see the mono, you get more pound for pound tensile strength, but you do have to manage the line. You do have to really pay attention to how much weight's on that line compared to what poundage you're fishing. If you're fishing 6 pound, you want to keep probably at least a 1/8 ounce spinner on that, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to keep some tension on that line running through the current because you're going to get backspool on that reel. You want to run braid, once again, I prefer a fluorocarbon leader. As we said before, we don't really run mono too much on our gear rods. Honestly, we're willing to tolerate the fluorocarbon, and it is an advantage if you're willing to build that tolerance and that skill set. But anyway, y'all, thanks again so much. Stay tuned for Nimrods, and we're going to be dropping another video real soon here about what's in the egg coming up for opening day. That's right, y'all. What's in that dragon's egg? Take a look. Whew. That bag's on the water with us every day. We got one for the gear rod and one for the flower rod. And we're gonna go ahead here in a couple days and hatch that. Real quick, y'all, we almost forgot, but this is super important. If you're gonna fish in cold temperatures, when the water's freezing, below freezing temperatures or right above freezing, basically if you're gonna fish under 40 degrees with sharp wind, you're not gonna wanna run braid. When you run braid in cold weather, you get little pearls of water on the line and it gets all gunked up on your reel, spreads the line out on your reel, and it can be a complete mess. So if you're gonna fish in those cold temperatures, you wanna have a rod and a reel spooled up with either fluorocarbon or monofilament. And once again, you're gonna have to go back to making that decision, monofilament versus fluorocarbon. And if you guys wanna win a 3-pack of those Hofmann's lures, right here they are. This week, we wanna know how much a Hofmann's Specialist Rainbow Spoon costs. And you can get that information at www.hli.fish. First 13 people to comment on how much a Hofmann's Specialist Rainbow Spoon costs down below, get their names entered into the hat, and we'll do the drawing probably earlier next week because we got Nimrods this weekend. And those videos will be out the following week, and the following week, part 2, will be out opening day weekend, y'all. Thanks again for checking us out here at Single Hook Hogs Fishing. Stay motivated, keep it tight. Remember, like, subscribe, share, follow us on that Facebook channel, Single Hook Hogs Fishing. We're gonna be doing a giveaway every week till opening day, and we got some cool videos coming up. We got Nimrods, and we got Boys Weekend opening day. We got some tigers coming this year in May, so stay tuned, y'all. Check you out next time. Single Hook Hogs out.